Eccoci qua. Buonasera, buonasera.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am very happy to welcome you all on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation, and CIHEAM Bari. This is the second session that we are lucky enough to propose at the 40th edition of the Rimini meeting. And we would like to thank the Rimini meeting for hosting this session, and we also want to thank the European Union. This evening we're going to illustrate an extremely ambitious project that our country has been pursuing for years to improve the living conditions of our neighbors. And we're going to have some examples of prosperity and development. This morning we talked about gender and peace, and we would like to emphasize to what extent Italian cooperation is able to develop new work settings and new training settings. And this condition, this cooperation, has become really well welcomed by population that were suffering from crisis due to war. And thanks to our cooperation, to Italy's cooperation, they managed to restart a future and to imagine a new situation. We're going to do this with a number of guests that I'm going to introduce, and the feature of this session is that we won't have just indirect words like my words, but everybody will have the chance to listen to direct experience, stories of life that can help us understand how important it is to donate and to plan future, not just for oneself, but also for the others. This morning session was really interesting. We've learned of many families that managed to run and start businesses. And I left this morning remembering a statement by philosopher Kant. Can you imagine that? That's the result of cooperation. That's fantastic. And this is a wonderful statement by Kant, who said that our relationship with humanity is needed as an aim and not as an end. And that is what is acknowledged all around the world. Our ability to get to places not as colonizers, but to bring new infrastructure, new knowledge, and above all, to give a hand that is also capable of embracing the other. Well, enough with my introduction. As you see, we're going to have a very distinguished speakers this evening. We will watch videos as well, and I'm very happy to introduce Dr. Luca Maestripieri, Director of the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation. Welcome, Dr. Maestripieri. Thank you, and thanks a lot for this opportunity for introducing me, but above all to introduce the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation. For those who may not know it, this institution was established about 4 or 5 years ago, and it started its activities 3.5 years ago. This agency inherited the activities from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, and this heritage was received with the aim to widen it and to make Italian cooperation even more protagonist at international level. The agency involves some hundreds of people working in Italy and in headquarters abroad. We have 20 headquarters abroad in all the continents, especially in Africa, which is the continent where we work with the greatest attention and to which we allot the greatest amount of resources. But we're also present in other areas. For example, the eastern areas, there's some important Asian countries. In Italy, we're still present in Albania. And in Latin America, there are 3 headquarters in Bolivia, in El Salvador, and in Cuba. In all these countries, we operate trying to convey the Italian know-how, which is an important element for development cooperation, establishing links with all private and public subjects that operate in those contexts. One of these important partners, and which we would like to thank today for giving us the opportunity to present projects that we realize in these countries, is the CIHEAM institution in Bari. This morning we had the chance to learn about some of the important projects that we carry out in collaboration with this institution, which is an international institution, but whose headquarters is in Italy, in the city of Bari, in the south of Italy. And we operate in some important sector for Italian cooperation, and the fundamental sector, for example, is the agricultural sector. Today, I'm not going to speak about the project because my colleagues here will be talking about that. I think it will be far more interesting to hear from them, from their direct experience, and this way understand what we do and see the effects of our actions. I think that 21st century cooperation should be based first and foremost on the presentation of the results of our training and education, so that the public, the audience in general, can have an idea and value them. We have representatives of some partner countries from Ethiopia, from Lebanon, from Tunisia. And these will talk about some projects that, as I said before, deal with the development of agriculture. There's a diversity of contexts. There are some inland areas in Ethiopia, but also there are some coastal communities. There are some small fishermen villages that are on the shore of our common sea, that is the Mediterranean. We will be pleased also to receive questions from the audience if you want to know more about something. And I hope that in this session we can reach the objective that is testifying to the importance of our actions. We try to keep a good synergy between the public institutions cooperating in development cooperation and the other partners operating in this same context. Thank you, Dr. Maestripieri. Thank you so much for being brief and for letting the other guests having more time to present their presentations. The idea of Italian cooperation is to give voice to the protagonists of this collaboration with our country. I would like then to begin with this kind of approach, showing you a video as regards prosperity. This video is about community conversation. That is, some communities were approached and educated to a better health of the community itself, in changing the family habits, beginning with food, for example, to increase the level of health and also to regulate the roles inside the community, which used to be very rigid. In this way, there was an attempt to find equal, fairer management of the family, and in this way, there was also the attempt to start income economy that was delivered through some companies. Let us watch this video. You will see a way to change the old habits, because if always the same things are repeated, then change won't come. In this case, cooperation intervened to give a new character to these populations with a very interesting result.
Bene, come vedete.
Well, as you could see from the video, it is clear that the community started to look at itself with a mirror, with community conversation, and started to work on sharing income, which is the fundamental step. From Ethiopia, we have some guests, and these guests welcome this idea of community conversation, as here we have Derkin Wabe Dube, village chief. Welcome. He speaks his language, so he needs a very big applause, and then we will have Awi, who will translate into English what he will say. You have the floor, Valkide.
Buonasera a tutti.
Ha detto buonasera, evviva!
You said buonasera. You said good evening. Very well.
Hawaasa dhiyeessuun barbaada akkaataa naannoo keenyatti leenjiin marii hawaasaatiif kenname. Mariin hawaasaa asiin durana kan ture akka naannoo keenyaatti abbootii warra dhiiraa qofatu hirmaachaa turanii amma yeroo qajeelfamni kun kenname fi leenjiin kun kenname dubartiinis dhiiraan mirga walgahii irratti ba'anii marii seeraa mari'achuudhaa fi walgahii seeraa geggeessuudhaa fi qabeenya ofiit irratti murteessuudhaa fi waan isaaniif barbaachisu raawwachuudhaa fi yeroo ammaa leenjiin amma kenname baay'ee nama gammachiisu ta'uu isaati.
Thank you. I am here to tell you about our experience and on community conversation, which is being held every month. It is community conversation which improves our dialogue culture in our community. This community conversation helped us to discuss on very important issues that concern our lives.
Na kanumatti aansuudhaan akkaataa yeroo ammaatti jiru hirmaannaan dubartootaa harki caalmaan qara kan mana oolanii fi abbaa warraa qofa kan irratti murteessee walii galaan yeroo isaaniif barbaachisu wama ofii barbaadan raawwataa turanii amma garuu yeroo itti aanu kana hanga leenjiin kenname as dubartoonni dhibbatti yoo ta'uu baate harka 65 ol hirmaannaa seeraa godhaniitii fi qajeelfama seeraa qabatanii gara hojiitti bobba'uu isaanii baay'ee kan nama gammachiisu ta'uu isaati. Kanumatti aansuudhaan immoo akkaatuma naannoo keenyaatiin miseensa bal'aa kan qabnuu fi miseensa bal'aa keessaa abbaa warraa qofaa malee dubartoonni miseensa waldaa ta'anii hin jiranii yeroo ammaa miseensa waldaatis ta'anii yeroo kana immoo filannoodhaa fi dubartoonni mirga guutuu argatanii gara waldaatitti dhiyaatanii filatamanii hojii geggeessaa ta'anii yeroo ammaa kan geggeessan ta'uu isaanii qabeenya ofiit irra murteeffachuu midhaan baasanii gurguruu waan isaa barbaachisu qixa abbaa warraatiin dhibbatti mirga qabaachuu ofii beekuu abbaa warraatii fi haati warraa qixa jiraachuu akkasumaan immoo seera akka naannoo keenyaatitti abbaa gadaatii fi abbootii amantaatii waliigallee kan irratti mari'annee fi kan barsiifne ta'uu kan asiin booda immoo waan guddoo ganaan nu ka'ee hafee nu eeggatu ta'uu dhaabbanni kun immoo qarqaarsa guddoo yoo nuuf godhe nu kan kana caalaa raawwannuu fi qophii barbaachisaa ta'an kan koone ta'uu isaati galatooma.
In previous times, women are always supposed to be at home. They do not have the experience to express their ideas in front of people. They don't have the experience of participating in different community gatherings or cooperatives. But after exercising the community conversation in our locality, now the community came to realize that women also have the equal right with men, and they have supposed to be at the front line equal to their male counterparts. And accordingly, in the cooperative that I am leading in my locality, we have now decided together with other member of the cooperative to increase number of women, which was not the habit to participate in the cooperatives. So accordingly, in the last 2 years, more than 89 women have become the member of the cooperative, and also last month women are elected as a cooperative leader, and also now they are exercising their right to make a decision.
Kanaaf immoo of fuulduraa fi abdii guddoo fi qophii guddoo keessumattuu Itoophiyaan biyya yeroo ammaa guddinaaf karaa irra jirtu waan taateef harka guddaa isin bira eeggachaa sochiin immoo amma itti fufaa jiru kun kan nama gammachiisu nutillee asirratti argamnee dhimma kana irratti hirmaachuudhaa fi affeerri nuuf godhame baay'ee guddaa kan nama gammachiisu ta'ee baay'ee very good nama saginaaleen galatooma.
As you all know, Ethiopia is among developing countries, and a social change is not something that appear immediately. So we will continue to work like this, and still we want your support to help us in supporting, showing us the way to socio-economic empowerment of women, and I really would like to thank you.
Loro hanno un modo.
So they have a very special place to greet you. So this is the kind of greeting that everybody does. So if you greet someone like that, that means friendship. So great applause for Workineh, Wabe, Dube. Thank you so much for your contribution. Now let's remain in Ethiopia. The model of community conversation has been really successful and effective in many other contexts. And next example will be made by Funga, Tola, who actively participated in all community conversation sessions and reached great results. So let us leave the floor to Funga, and we would like to welcome her with a great round of applause. Welcome.
Buonasera. Jecha waa'ee nu asufnee fi waa'ee marii hawaasaati. Marii hawaasaa hoggaa jennu akka armaan duraatitti dhiira duwwaatu bahee walgahii irratti bahee dubbataa ture. Garuu dhaabbanni xaaliyaanii kun wanti nu ga'e waan guddaadha. Waaqni isaan haa eebbisu jechaa gargaarsa isaan nu go'an immoo ibsuu ufnee gargaarsi nu go'ame gargaarsa hammana hin jedhamne badhaadhummaa guddaa nu baasanii badhaadhummaa hojjennu qarshii mootii qabeenyaa mootii sammuu keenya qaru'an nu gorsu'an nu barsiisuudhaan seenaa keenya haaressaa jirra. Akkasumas immoo ani haala mijeessu turaa yookiin dura teessuu dubartootaati. Hoon jedhu dura maatii kootirraa haadha ijoollee jaatii dubartii sadiif dhiira sadiin qabaa. Mana koo keessatti ijoollee sun dubartiinis dhiirtis walqixa mirga isaanii dirqama isaanii eegan akka guddatan go'a. Akkasuma immoo hawaasa kootti bahee kan duraanii caalaa namoota waldaa keessatti gurmeessuudhaan dubartoota gara walgayiitti baasee gara jijjiiramatti akka ba'an go'aa turre. Akkasumas immoo akkuma amma diraamaa keessatti ilaaltan duraan dubartiin baay'ee yeroo hundaa cuucamtee abbaa warraa duwwaatu magaalaa deemee waan barbaade mi'aan gurguree akka barbaade isaan rukutaa ture. Amma garuu ega marii kana fu'annee jennee ega leenjinee jennee jijjiirama guddaatu dhufee.
I am Funga, a community animator in my locality. I am a mother of 6 children, 3 male and 3 female. I would like to thank the Italian cooperation for coming to our village and giving us the opportunity to gain a different skill. Prosperity is not about getting money, but it is about getting skill, knowledge, and experience to develop our own life. So this is what we get from the project which is being implemented by the organization. Me and other 5 women took a training, a life skill training, and back home, back to our village, and try to bring a change. And I'm here to tell you about that change.
akkasumas immoo ittiin haasa'anii dhaabbanni kun wanti nu ga'e wanta guddaadha. Sanyii gara garaa nu hiruudhaan mana keenya duuba waan barbaanne dhaabbannee qayisirii akkasuma immoo kaarotii akkasuma goommana adiif gurraacha nuu kennanii mana keenya duuba dhaabbannee sirna nyaataatillee nu leenjisanii nyaanni keenyallee jijjiirame nyaata keenyarra immoo darbee gabaa keenya gurgurannee waan barbaanne ittiin qonnee qarshii keenya kaan qusannaa gara baankii ol kaawannee akkasumas immoo leenjii kana eega fu'annee dubartoonni marii hawaasaa irratti nama 100 olii kan argamu haa ta'utii amma nama 50maatiin buusii keenya buufataa jirra dinagdeenillee deemaa jirra akkasuma immoo wanti kun akka ganda keenya keessatti ta'ee dhaabbanni kun amma osoo nu biraa hafuu baatee baay'ee barbaannaa muuxannoo nuu kennuudhaan nu gargaaruudhaan ganda keenya keessatti aanus jijjiirra akkuma duratti abbaan keenya jeetti Itoophiyaan karaarra jirti waan ta'eef isin eegganna.
Community conversation is a very essential tool for our community to revitalize our culture of dialogue in the community. So we are exercising the dialogue culture in our community. We are trying to participate our children to respect each other regardless of their gender. We are teaching them to know that both male and female children are equal, and we are also encouraging them to participate in this community conversation. Before we were only 20 people who came together to discuss, but through time now we are to reach about 60 people who have started saving and credit, and now we have saved very big money and saved it in a bank. As my friend said, Ethiopia is a developing country. We will help each other, and still we want your support.
Kana jecha wanti amsaani amma qabu kan naafe mootummaa see miti mootummaa dhaabbata xaaliyaanii galateeffachaa waaqayyo umurii dheeraa nuuf haa jiraachisu jecha galatooma carraa kana waan nu laattaniif carraa waa'ee misooma irratti hoggaa jenne duraanii abbaa warraa keenya duwwaatu hojjetaa ture amma garuu marii kana eega mari'annee baanee hojjannee akka inni hojjetutti hojjannee gabaa keenya baanee gurgurannee qarshii keenya waan barbaanne waan nu barbaachisu uffata keenya ta'ee meeshaa dubartii barbaachisu ta'ee godhannee irraa kanaaf immoo waan barbaanne namni manallee ittiin ijaarrataa jiru hin jira kanaaf wanni isiniin jiru hin jiru waan umurii dheeraa isinaa jiraachisu galatooma.
The other thing is that about the home garden development, the project have given us a training on home garden development and management. Accordingly, we have produced different variety of vegetable, which was provided by the project, and helped us to diversify our nutrition for our family. And also we are selling the other crops, the surplus crops, and getting another money or income to buy what is required for our family. So thank you, God bless you all.
Sì, grazie, grazie.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to leave the floor to Awi and thank her wholeheartedly because she enabled translation. Maybe you would like to add something to conclude these remarks? Would you like to add something?
Thank you. The project really has a big impact in our community, especially in helping women to continue their journey toward socio-economic development. I'm a development worker, and I'm a witness that situation of women, how the situation of women in rural areas looks like. And the introduction of this community conversation really helped them to come up with different solutions as a community. And he also mentioned that social change is gradual, but the change that are coming are very promising. So we all are one. Thank you, the Italian cooperation to support us, and we hope it will continue. And also we hope the community will institutionalize this approach and continue to overcome even other issues of their locality. One thing they didn't mention, but that I know, is that women now have started to take their produce to the market because of the discussion, the dialogue in the community, which was not a habit for a woman to take many products of a cereal or a vegetable to the market and sell and take the money by herself and make a decision. But now as a community, they have started to realize this. So thank you so much. That's what I want to say.
Hai fatto bene. No.
You did well. We have to say no to discrimination, and we have to be in favor of training. Now the floor to Mr. Maestripieri. I would just like to say one thing. I very much liked what our dear friend Funga said. Cooperation helps us not only because it gives us economic support, but also because it gives us knowledge. It gives us knowledge. And once you get the knowledge, you'll never lose it. And knowledge is self-nourishing. It feeds itself. And when it spreads in a community, that's heritage that never gets lost. And that's the true example, the real example of what development cooperation can perform. Now we're going to watch another video of another wonderful initiative that the cooperation developed with CIHEAM. Before that, I would like to greet Mariam Yassim Yusuf, the special envoy of the Somali First Minister for Migrants and Children. So she was with us this morning. She came back this evening. Thank you so much for participating in this session, and thanks you for listening. So I was talking about this video. It is not a long video, but it talks about this project that was implemented by CIHEAM in 8 countries of the Mediterranean area. It's an IMO project. That's a project that then brought about very interesting results, which will be detailed by the next speaker. But first, have a look at this video, which is really very important.
Seguendo una rotta comune verso la pesca sostenibile del Mediterraneo. Il porto virtuale del Mediterraneo. Prima i migranti non fuggivano. Un'area di dialogo, condivisione e cooperazione.
Antonio, eccomi. Abbiamo gli amici pescatori di Interfissa. Perché possiamo iniziare? Qui abbiamo quelli di Unicasa. Buongiorno a tutti gli amici di Interfissa. Buongiorno.
Cristo è qua, mi sta chiedendo se c'è qualcosa che possiamo risolvere dividendo l'esperienza, nel senso di pesca che non va bene, di maniere di pescare che possiamo condividere, così possiamo trovare una soluzione.
Quello da fondo, per orate, identici, non lo usano.
Le pêcheurs de service veulent poser une question aux pêcheurs de tricage. La compagnie de pêche maintenant à tricage, c'est quoi? Qu'est-ce qu'ils pêchent maintenant?
In questo momento un po' di pagelli e scorfali. Sì, a noi ci interessa sapere in questo periodo le spigole con che cosa stanno prendendo.
Guarda che forte, è bellissimo. Questo filmato è bellissimo.
This is really a wonderful video. It is an example, a perfect example of how digital progress can be useful to make populations meet who in the past were not familiar with these tools. This way these populations can improve the quality of the work through the exchange of information. So you were part of this project, right? And you are enthusiastic about that. This is our next speaker here at the Rimini meeting, Dbouk from Lebanon. And it is really fantastic what they did in Tiro. So good evening, everybody. If you allow me, I would like to thank the ministry, the Italian Ministry for Foreign Affairs, the Italian Cooperation CIHEAM from Bari, as well as the organizers of this session and of the Rimini meeting, to give me this chance, which I had long wished for since 1983, when I was about to graduate. And this for two main reasons. First of all, there were two reasons I wanted to participate in this event. First of all, I wanted to participate in order to thank the Italian population, government, on my personal behalf and on behalf of the Lebanese who graduated in Italy, for giving us the chance of educating ourselves and learning to certain skills for our jobs and professions, and secondly also for the great hospitality and the good feelings and the solidarity that we all experienced. In Lebanon, the civil war was raging. And being here, I was like home. I was like in my own family. I was supported by everybody, by my friends and my professors. So human values, these human values are very important for us. That's the first reason. The second reason, I wanted to bring the Catholic young people this message of peace and dialogue with other cultures, especially in other religions, especially with Islam. Just to tell you that the so-called religious wars are only wars based on political, hegemonic, and economic reasons, and not for religious ones. We all believe in the uniqueness of God, the merciful. We believe that we are all equal. And therefore, we cannot consider the Muslim the one who does not believe in the prophecy of the first prophets, like Abraham or Jesus, and the one who does not believe in the birth of Jesus. So terrorist acts committed by some fanatics do not represent their community. They are rare episodes. You should not consider the inter-Muslim community to be terrorist. To the young people, I would like to suggest and recommend them that they are hopeful towards the future. They should reinforce their hope and their belief in God, their Creator, and the confidence that their country, Italy, can overcome its problems by grounding its work on a long legacy of history, being Italy a country of innovation, especially among the young people. And I really hope that the Italian youth will maintain the great moral and human values that the Mediterranean culture has given us, thereby uniting us all. Today, I would like to greet you from Tiro, the Phoenician city whose princess Europa gave her name to the European continent. And from Tiro, from Tyre, the alphabet was spread. Tiro, Tyre, was also the place where the olive tree, that is the tree of peace, first spread. Tyre was blessed by the passage of the princess, and actually the first Christian cathedral in the world after Christ was built, in the 1st century after Christ. After my graduation in agricultural sciences at the University of Pisa, I came back to Lebanon and I started running a number of agricultural companies, especially citrus fruit companies and banana companies. And I had the chance to set up a number of agricultural cooperatives, as agriculture is the most important sector in my region. In 2006, I was supported by the Italian Ministry for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, and the program Tergo in Lebanon was set up. This provided for innovation and technology to the Lebanese Ministry for Agriculture. There was a special program devoted to olive oil. And on the other hand, the program created a strategic line for rural development. It established local action groups in Byblos, in Baalbek and Tyre, and I am the vice president of these groups. It was probably because of this that I've had the chance to be elected as the president of the municipal board of Tyre, in charge of cultural affairs and the environment. CIHEAM provided outstanding training to many experts, and they provided several NGOs to be active, especially a number of NGOs run by women developed in the agricultural field, especially to develop the quality of products and their innovative skills. This greatly enhanced local produce, typical local produce. It contributed to the conservation of local resources within. And this in our planet, we are currently witnessing the disappearance of several local species due to the wild spread of genetically modified organisms. So preserving and conserving local varieties, local seeds, is something that is worth pursuing. The fight against pollution is another area that has been pursued, for example, through in schools, in the communities. and also for the treatment of solid waste and for the protection of sea wildlife. These awareness-raising programs provided interesting effects, and because of the good results achieved, the geographic was set up. At the National Geographic, stated that Tyre basically ranks fourth among the clean ports. And this is within the many activities that we carried out. Our activities also thanks to the Italian cooperation that put all of this in place. We're talking about sea fauna. When talking about sea fauna, sea wildlife, this is currently decreasing. This brings about problems of food nutrition. The population of food has gone down by over 50% in all web ports that we're currently active in. We are present in 8 countries, and all of them are facing the same problem. So we're trying to coping with it. Strong measures have to be implemented in order to stop excessive fishing and other threats to sea life. Fishing is, however, not the only reason for the decrease in the number of fish and pollution. Pollution is another one. There's a large number of plastic waste that accumulate in the digestive tract of sea animals. Then climate change, and especially the rising of sea temperatures, this brought about the presence of new wild fish and other species, dangerous species. It is not too late to contribute solving these problems. Protected areas for fishing activities should be set up. If this is done, we can contribute to increasing the sea population. Another problem registered in Tyre, for example, was, the use of dynamite. Fishermen would use dynamite to fish, and this would also destroy the small creatures, the larvae, as well as the important cultural heritage in the Sea of Tyre. The fact that you participate in the Nemo project, do you think that it helped improving the situation? Yes. Turtles are a very important species for marine biodiversity. And there was a very interesting pilot project in Tyre, the Nemo project. So the turtles that would remain attached to the meshes, to the nets, and would eat the fish were considered enemies. In some countries, turtles are killed by fishermen. To counter this problem, and thanks to the support of the Nemo project, we tried to keep turtles away from the nets. We used green light sources, LED run sources. So we attach one of these lamps every 10 meters of the nets. This device kept the turtles away. So we saved the turtles and we saved the fish stocks. And I think this is a good practice that can be shared also with other communities of fishermen. I suggest that we close here with this wonderful piece of news. So thank you very much to Ali Dbouk, because he has managed to, in a way, disclose this best practice that can be extended to other communities as well. There's now another evidence from Tunisia. Rajaa Ben Lacheb, she is an animator of the Women's Network in Tunisia, in an area in Tunisia that is bordering to Libya. This is also another very interesting experience, and I would like her to talk about.
All'inizio
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first thank the CIHEAM of Bari for inviting me and to allowing me to participate in this session. I will speak in French. I just wanted to say something in Italian in the opening of my speech, just to please the moderator. I work for the Regional Committee of Agricultural Development in Medina, in the south of Tunisia. I started this international cooperation work 4 years ago when I became a local coordinator. So I am an official representative as a partner of a cooperation project of the Tunisian government called JEMAISA. This project deals with women living in rural areas. We've worked a lot with this project, and big changes have occurred at a personal and professional level. Thanks to this work, I could see the reality and appreciate the reality of things. And regardless of the difficulties, it was possible also to understand there's a lot of potential that can be developed. I would also like to express the voice of the coastal community in Tunisia, which is bordering Libya and which is an area of great migratory flow to Europe. In particular, I would like to talk about women who pick clams. They stay in the water a long time, bent in to collect their clams. They go to the markets and they sell them at a very low price, 1 or 2 euros per kilo. And they sell them to intermediaries, and these products are then marketed at an international level, where on the international markets the cost is about 15 euros per kilo. And with Italian collaboration, we've done a lot of work to redress this situation. The organization worked in collaboration with other institutions, and we have tried to improve the living conditions and the income of women. I would also like to take this opportunity to say something about world issues. Given the climate change and the overexploitation of natural resources, there's been a decrease in the stock of clams, and there's been the invasion from alien species, the clam from the Philippines, and the area was also invaded by the blue crab, and that affected the area where the clams used to be. And this affected also other marine species. This crab breaks the fishermen's nets and eats all the fish inside the nets. At the beginning, this was considered a big problem, a catastrophe, but in fact, now the fishermen have started to fish this crab, the blue crab, and women started to work in processing this product. So Italian cooperation supported not only coastal communities, but also the traditional fishing methods that are based on local organizations and direct management and the promotion of local products. This development project did not only involve the direct beneficiaries of the network, but it also affected other beneficiaries, which are organizations that are interested in carrying on this development program. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rajaa Ben Lacheb. We are getting close to the conclusion, but before doing that, we want to welcome a colleague that opened the first session this morning in the meeting of Rimini. That is Giorgio Marapoli, who is General Director of Cooperation and Development of the Ministry of Affairs. Many, many congratulations for Italian cooperation, which is welcomed all around the world. Everybody loves us because they know that where we go, we don't go there as colonizers, but as bearers of education and know-how. Now, let's get to the conclusion with the director of the CIHEAM in Bari. This institution is a wonderful institution which is able to promote wonderful initiatives. So let's welcome Dr. Literrizzi. Thank you, Antonio. I would like to extend the greetings on behalf also of the other director who could not be here, and I would also like to express my words of gratitude to the minister. Well, at last we have the chance to say hello and to applaud the minister. Thank you, minister. We were really worried when we got contacted for this event during the third week of August, when it's a really, really heated time in our shores and in our coastal areas. But here we are, we're very happy to be here. And I'm happy to be here to talk about the opportunities of cooperation as a job opportunity for young people too. We are the Italian institution linked in a network of institutions present in Spain, in Greece, and it is the CIHEAM in Bari is the Italian headquarters where cooperation projects are carried out together with education and development. All the people that studied in our institution in Bari are our ambassadors now. They have important positions, and they are asking Italy to start to continue to work and to work as a unified country. This is important because it helps us understand how human beings are. Men and women are those that count. That's the important element. It is the person managing a community that counts and that it is able to contaminate ethnic groups and the whole community. So we're interested in the people that can get into institutions, universities, schools, and then back to the families and the community. This is the link that allows us to have an impact at a central level, because many of these people that we trained are ambassadors, they are ministers, they work at a very high profile level. Some of them are really luck because they've had experience, but in these countries there are some situations whereby we try to understand the need, we try to understand the weaknesses of some countries. We've had here our colleague from Lebanon, but we also collaborate with Syria in the border area, in Tunisia, but also in Egypt. And all this is possible thanks to cooperation. This kind of dialogue can help us understand the needs and to bring these needs at a central level to the attention of the ministers. CIHEAM organizes a conference of ministers not to let them speak, but to let them know, to let them understand and hear the voice of those that in their countries have not the possibility to speak and to express their worries before institutional representatives. We are a means for cooperation, Italian cooperation for local development, but first and foremost to help people understand how technical training can also have an impact on decision-making processes, or to improve regulations and norms so that they are more acceptable for the local communities. Creating some protected marine areas is good, but they have to be decided in advance together with the local communities. So it's important to listen to the needs, and we do this with a partnership, an Italian partnership that consists of universities, regional institutions, consortia, and cooperatives, and other organizations such as trade unions. This whole movement is what makes cooperation, is what makes our institution in Bari is able to stimulate, and so it shows that Italy can have an impact and can help to continue to do this. Other subjects are not able to translate it in the same way, in an effective way that we are able to do instead. Before I mentioned the fact that cooperation can be an opportunity for young people, so I want to say that projects must not be abandoned. Our method is this. A project is an opportunity to start a dialogue. As you said, Antonio, technologies are very important. The experience of Webport is a way to say, well, let's start involving the weakest link, the fishermen, the poor people. This was also mentioned this morning by the director. So why shouldn't we use technology to stimulate change among these people? Why shouldn't we accompany agriculture farmers in Syria and the women in Syria so that they can know that there is a technical assistance, even if it's not given by their government, but the system is available in the web. It's available on the web, and we try to do that thanks to cooperation. So we don't abandon anybody after a project is completed. We don't want to leave anybody behind once they work with the institution. We have a network of 10,000 former students that keep following us. They are contacted when we operate in different countries. Well, this is the use of technology so that a community can be as efficient as possible. To conclude, there cannot be agriculture without farmers. Well, there cannot be cooperation without cooperators. So we do hope that we can have more opportunities from young people here in Rimini that can get inspired and work in cooperation. You're all invited to visit the stand of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where you can see how doors can be opened, and it is easy to cooperate because as Italy we can do things in partnership. That's wonderful. Thank you, Biagio Literlizzi. The community as a means and not as an end. Before closing, we would like to remind everybody that the meeting in Rimini is an event that is supported through donations. So you're all invited to donate at the dedicated desk where you'll find colleagues and volunteers with a red T-shirt so that the next edition can be possible. We conclude our participation in the meeting here with this session, and we would like to thank the people in the ministry, in the agency, and in the CIHEAM that worked in the background to make this session possible. Thank you again for being here with us.
Allora, alle 21:30 qui...
At 9:30, reportage will be screened here. It's 6 videos that will be screened here about what we have done. We want to invite you all to watch the 6 videos about Italian cooperation that were shot on the field in Bolivia, in the Amazon, in Senegal, or there is a TV news episode with rappers, and it will be presented by the director of Maestripieri and ISEC and CIHEAM. So please be here, because it's going to be a very interesting evening at 9:30 tonight. Thank you.